and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is e-xtra.
I always knew I wanted to be a musician. Was how, when, that was my problem. Now, unfortunately, my father was trained in England. My father wasn't the conventional kind of father. And I don't think he really respected what he learned in England. And he really loved me to be a street kid. I don't know why, but he wanted me to be like the street kids, like gutter boy, kind of rascal, very disobedient. These were things that really fascinated him. And then music, not from the Western man's point of view, but from the African man's perspective. So I think this was why he was not the kind of bourgeoisie, conventional father that most of my friends had in their homes. When my career started, and at the time I was really like the carbon copy or replica of my father, that he was grooming me. Nobody really paid attention. The press didn't pay that much attention to me because I ran out of school to join my father and I was reading all these books. Then I started playing with him, did my first recording with Royals, Africa Center of the World, started to record, started to play at the Shrine. But then I used to dress like him. When you see my father, it's just I said to go taller than him. Then I was like the splitting image of him. But nobody was that, the press, the media were not that concerned about me per se, but his fan base did know me, did love what was happening. And then when I broke away, I wasn't trying to be like my father, I was trying to find my voice. The critics was like hard criticisms of, you are not like your father, you can never succeed this way, this is not what we want Fela's carbon copy, Fela groomed you to be, it was very, very negative press I had. And this was because I broke away from my father. So, but that negative press gave me the willpower. It gave me a kind of energy that probably I would say it was good. It made me think deep. It made me very sure I didn't want to be the carbon copy of my father. I wanted my father to respect me for being femi, not being what he trained to be to take over for me. And if I could become greater than him or achieve more things in my career, a father should be happy. If I did nearly as good, what will please him? So I wanted something that he will say, wow, to fascinate him as my father. I think generally every son wants the father to be pleased positively of what he has achieved, not because of the father, but because of his son's effort. So that was what I was looking for, and I knew I could not achieve this being under his house or his umbrella. And don't forget, he had 27 wives, so it was a real problematic days I was coming from. So when I moved back to my mother, my grandmother even brought me down to it because I came out of that household very arrogant and pompous. Fela's son, hey, I thought I was the greatest thing in this world. And my grandmother my mother's mother, she burst my balloon straight. I fell down, I cried all night. She was like, I never hear you practice. What kind of musician are you? I thought I did not need to practice, and she gave me a big talking to that day. I cried all night, and the next day I couldn't even pick up my sax because I was so ashamed that, you mean I'm nothing? I thought I came here and, me, Femi Kuti, hey, Fela's son, what's wrong with this woman? Oh, I hate it. There is no cause I didn't give this my mother, my grandmother in my head. I hate it. But I knew it was true, so that was what made that change, that talking to change my life. So the next few days, I just became more of a serious person. Many things now started to come down my thoughts. Like, I knew I wanted to get married one day. I knew I wanted to have kids. I knew that the way I was going, I would never achieve those things that I wanted, which was a wife, kids. Where would I get money to feed my family? So I found out I was in a very problematic position where I didn't have money. I was now relying on my mother to feed me. Nobody wanted to hear my music. My father was not talking to me while on very bad times. The family, nobody wanted, I was totally on my own. Then I sat down that night and my sister was, go back to Fela. We call him Fela because he told us not to call him daddy. So, excuse me when I say Fela. Go back to Fela now, go and settle and I was, no, I will never go back. I will make it on my own.
Like they say, a fool at 50 is a fool forever. No way, not for Nigeria. Nigeria, we are blessed. Trust me, it's worth celebrating it. We are 52, and I'm proud to be a Nigerian. Trust me.
When I left, my best friend, Delicious Simitu, left. So both of us sat down. But he was like kind of looking to me for solutions. And every day everybody say, so what's the plan? So the first plan was, we are going to run to America. So we got this French guy who we knew, who told us, come to New York. So we ran to New York. My mother bought us a ticket. When we got to New York, we called the French guy, says, what are you doing here? Who told you to come? You told us to come now. So we were stranded at JFK airport. We had no money. We just arrived and it was cold. Dele, what are we going to do? Dele says, that my girlfriend, I had a girlfriend called Tuti. Said, I have her number. She stays in the Bronx. Should we call her? But we have no money. And we had traveled to America, Dele and myself with my father. So he knew that in America you can do this call where you call and the operator will say, the call collect, where they will pay. So he memorized my girlfriend's number. I have to even ask him how he memorized it, and I didn't even memorize my girlfriend's number. I have to ask him that question. What kind of rubbish is that, safe? So he had my girlfriend's number in his head. He was very good at storing numbers. So he called my girlfriend. And I said, hey, where are you? We said, New York. New York, eh? Hey! And we said, we are stranded at the airport. So her mother comes on the line. Her mother likes me very much. She said, okay, come. Take a taxi, come to the Bronx. So that's how we spent 2 weeks doing nothing in New York. And then we came back to Nigeria. It was a field. We sat down again. I said, okay, let's start a band. So that was the beginning of Positive Force. So two of us just said going into town. We knew some friends. Do you know a basis, blah, blah. We just got this group of guys together. And 1986, December 13th, Friday, was our first gig, Uniland. And that was the beginning of the Positive Force. But after that gig, it was bad press. Till 1988, we got my first international break, where this Frenchman comes from France and takes us on a trip to France. 1989, my next international break. It was a cultural exchange with the Swiss government, who took us to Switzerland, Germany, and some French states as well. So this was the beginning. So I made a big name. I was now making a name outside Nigeria and a very bad name in Nigeria, because the fact that Fela and I were not talking, the press didn't agree with me. So we'll play anywhere we played in Nigeria, we'll have maybe 5 people watching us. In 1991, my father and I made up, and this was the first time his fan base got to hear me since 1986. So it was September 29th, on a Sunday, we played at the Shrine, and it was jam-packed. And my father too, this was the first time he watched me in a long time. And he too was overwhelmed. He said, you have grown. And he was shocked that, is this you? You did all these numbers? No, impossible. And that was the beginning, I could say, of the Nigerian fan base winning the Nigerian audience. The good press said to come back slowly. It was very difficult. Then I got my first hit, Wonder Wonder.
You don't have any option. You have to celebrate Nigerian independence because, no matter how good or bad your father is, he's still your father. Even if you change his name from your name, his blood is in your veins. You can't take that away, so we have to.
Success is not money. Success is your ability to do your job and be one of the best. So I'm not rich. I think I just do well with my profession. I wouldn't even say I have a good name, because there are some family homes, when you hear Femi Kuti, they will just say, that man that likes women. No. So, but if you talk about Femi and Nicola Kukuti's work, I will be one of the top African musicians. Probably globally too, in the sense that I might not be one of the richest musicians, but I have respect in the industry, in music. I think so. For me, that is success. I strive to always give my best. I always think of my death. So the day I die, I want to be totally satisfied with my life. Which means if I look back on my deathbed, I want to be content. Like, there was no point in my life I didn't give over 100% at every performance. And even if I failed anywhere, it wasn't my fault.
Hi, my name is kuti. I'm a Nollywood actress. You're watching Runs on e-xtra. My first movie was Secret Pain. Yes. It took me a while to come out to say because it wasn't actually the first movie that was released. It was the first movie I ever acted. It was Secret Pain. And I came into the movie industry as a result of a Next Movie Star. I was a housemate. I'm working on a movie in Owerri. I can't really see the storyline because it's not been registered, but it's a beautiful story. But I have a project coming up very soon that it's supposed to be released in cinema by the end of the year, and it's called My Life, No Damage. It's a huge, huge, huge thing. Music is fun and love. Movie is passion. It's me. So it's like doing me and having fun. I hardly never do the boots. I'm always doing the boots. I think that we have gone so far, but not where we are. We're not even halfway where we are, but we have done excellently well from the time I got in to now. It's very obvious that the music is doing very well, but on the other hand, the movie industry is also doing really well for our standard. I'm not on Facebook, but I'm on Twitter, and I have just one account on Twitter, personal account, which is @Tomtolet. My name is Tomtolet. I'm a Nollywood actress, and you're watching Runs on e-xtra.
The e-xtra news service is a product of the reclusive geniuses at Nigezie. Stay up to date on Nigerian entertainment by staying with us here on the show and visit www.nigezie.tv for more info.